I'm going to do the box method system on this pantry. It's never been arranged, not since we've moved in. Things were just kind of pushed in, and we'll just see what I pull out, what happens, what we arrange. Here we go. Here's the before. What would happen if this disappeared? Whoa, no way. This is super important. My husband was looking for it yesterday. This doesn't even go in here. What would happen if these disappeared? These are my husband's. Pie making. I don't make pies. Not as of yet. I do not. Husband loves this pan. What would happen if this disappeared? Like, honestly, we never use it, but if we were going to use it, this is not where I would look for it. Up here, like, bad home. Let's try that again. This cupboard is also a mess. We're gonna probably redo the whole kitchen, but for now, this is where these types of pans go. So that's a much better home. Let's continue. Oh, this doesn't go here. It goes over here with this stuff. What would happen if this is so important, but I don't know why it's up here. Yeah, this does not go up here. Again, it makes more sense for me to have this with the baking pans, the cookie sheets and that type of thing. What would happen if this disappeared? We have some nasty food storage, and this came with it, but we still have it. We're keeping it. This needs to go in that, because if I needed to look for it in an emergency for food storage, I wouldn't go look up here. It would be gone. This might as well not exist in my house right now. So I'm gonna go find that food storage and put this away. You might have wondered why this didn't go with my other baking pans. This is a rare use item I am not gonna be looking for, so this feels perfect. This is something so these things are things my husband uses. Moving on, what would happen if this is important. What would happen if this disappeared? Like, my husband's gonna use this, but I don't feel like they're gonna be used. Like, I couldn't even see they were up there. That's a bad place for them. And lastly, we have some Halloween plates. I don't want these in my pantry, so I will be moving those to either get rid of them or maybe put them with the Halloween decorations, but that's going to be a decision I'm going to make when I'm going through Halloween decorations and not when I'm going through my pantry, because it just does not feel relevant right now. I have moved down a shelf, so I'm going to start on the right side just because that's where I started last time. I'm going to assume I'm going to be keeping all of this stuff, so we'll just see what happens. What happened if this disappeared? I would have to order more. Just getting that gut reaction of how do I actually feel if I don't have this. Flaxseed. Can I just have this top shelf be my husband's? I have a slight allergy to flaxseed. Probably just make a shelf for him. We'll see what that ends up being. So, yep, I can have this, but all of this he would look for. We buy lentils. See, this is mine. Oh, it's running out. I need to get the refill from the basement. Yeah, just putting like things together. This, I'm not even using it right now. It's taking up space down where I need to be able to reach stuff. So this might even come in handy. I could probably dump some of these in there, but right now it doesn't go on the shelf. Useful. These lids are all over the place in my house. Yep, we like our tuna fish. What would happen if this is, look at that. It's labeled wrong. It says lentils and it's black beans. Oh, pinto beans. See, this needs to be set up properly. There we go. All of this so far is useful and relevant. I don't like quinoa. Just get a slight reaction to quinoa. So that's my husband's as well. Got more tuna fish, more grouping items. See, this should actually go over here with beans and stuff. This, I would want it to go with baking. I don't have a baking area, but look how cute. I don't have any flour in there either. That's not useful right now. More lentils and beans and peas and stuff. I think we're coming up with some good categories. I love this. This is nutritional yeast. And I can eat cheese, but I like making nutritional yeast cheese. I think it tastes good. Sometimes it's just a good alternative. It tastes great with, dipping celery in it. More tuna fish. More beans and stuff. We'll have to organize that later. Empty knife block. We keep our knives in a drawer now. We'll see how long that lasts with baby coming. So yeah, right now this is actually not very relevant, unless we decide we want to get the knives out of that drawer, out of baby's reach, when it's in a couple years or so. But I guess we have a couple of years. We'll see. We also don't love this block. We might find a different solution, maybe a magnet. I have no idea. We'd have to research. There's a little bit of flour. This isn't useful or relevant right now. See, I'm not able to get rid of some things quite yet, but I can at least get it out of my space so that the area I do have is usable. This is very important. So I'm done. Look at that. I'm keeping all of this, but I freed up a lot of space. That's really nice. Let's move on. I'm gonna go left to right this time because it just looks easier. More tuna. Consolidating. I hardly ever use this, but it feels important because my husband pointed out a fantastic use for it yesterday. So we'll see. I want it to go somewhere else. When I've been taught that in a grocery store, the best place to have things is lower than eye level, because if you put it straight up, people just tend to look down a little bit. I want the definite use items to be here, and maybe here, and here. We'll see. This is not a definite use item, but I prefer my more useful. It's just also easier to pick up things, heavier things from right here. So to have them on the ground or down lower, I'd rather they were right here. I use this less often. It's okay that it's heavier. I'm not going to use it as often. We've got some more falling oats. Consolidating. That's three oats. Okay. I never, like, how often am I going to use this? To me, this goes in the back bottom, who knows where. I don't need a quick reach. We've got more cans. So I'll just start putting the cans over here. I didn't get rid of this earlier. Whoop. Okay, goodbye to that. So I think I'm just going to go through now and quickly. Yeah, that looks like a good home. These are great if you have Cheerios or something, and you feed your kid Cheerios when you go out, but we don't really do that. This has not been very useful. I'm going to put this on trial up here for now. Maybe I'll go and put this stuff somewhere else later today, but I'm just doing this real quick while my dinner's cooking. 4 jars of oatmeal. This is food storage, I tell you. Look at that, another lid. Okay, we've got 1 potato. I'm sure that'll get eaten. This is where I want to get out a dustpan and be sweeping. Perfectly honest, I never ever use this. It's kind of small on me, so go figure. But my daughter wants it to be in here. She's like, it's mine. Okay, well, I'll put it up here because right now it's not being used. I think what I'm going to do is tie the top so I can hang it up, or I don't know. I'll figure it out later. This is just a quick thing to get things organized. Okay, what would happen if these disappeared? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. These do not matter to me. They're not useful to me. I tried using them twice so far. I want to, yeah. And if you've seen that hack on Facebook where she pulls out, she used this to clean out her pumpkin. My sister tried it with a blender. She said that's not gonna, you have to have a pretty small pumpkin. No, I don't remember what she said. Anyway, I just use a spoon. Do I need to keep this for a pumpkin? No, I just don't use this. The times I have tried using it, I'll stop, wash my KitchenAid, and switch, because this is just not nearly as efficient. But if my husband wants to keep it, I'm going to put it up on his shelf. Okay, moving on. So, this just needs to go in the garbage. I do not like pickled beets. First person to comment gets them for free. Just kidding. These are my KitchenAid attachments. Love them. You can tell I use them to papers. And this is some paper I want to roll out and put the produce on my countertop onto. So it probably should have happened up here before these were put down, because this is not looking good. This appears to be nutritional yeast. Okay, we've got honey. I love honey. Can't yep, all this useful, relevant, consolidate. This is my husband's. If he wants to get rid of it, it's on his shelf. I love that. You can just give him a shelf. That's your stuff. Okay, more tuna. Yum. He bought this chili. I don't know if he plans on eating it. I would like to eat it if he doesn't. I don't know what it tastes like. So, and we've got, you know, produce. Yep, all of this is useful and relevant, but it's a lot cleaner in here. This does not go here. This goes down there. Maybe I can have a helper put it down there under the stove. So I've got my helper. Why do I have this? Maybe it holds up pans. I might try that out. If this can hold up like cookie sheets, that would be fab. That would be fabulous. And the bags do not go in this closet. I'm just putting off stuff there so I can go put them away later. I have these. You don't want to keep old flour for too long because it gets gross. But I go through flour like crazy, so my plan has been to fill up, reuse these bags and fill it up with this. I'm not sure though, because I tend to just refill the same bag instead of filling up 3 bags. I think I would really like it though, so I think I'm gonna fill these up with this flour and then reuse it. So again, you want to be careful reusing old flour bags because they can get that stale taste to them after a certain amount of time. But I use the flour so quickly, I think I'll be fine to use these for a time. And my yogurt. I was supposed to make yogurt today. Whoopsie. That can happen tomorrow. Here we go. This, just a quick review, is phenomenal. If your yogurt is bad, like you don't have a great yogurt, it doesn't turn out well, it will pour through like the holes are garbage. So I almost left a horrible review. I almost sent it back. Tried it one more time and it worked phenomenally. I've been using it since. So I love this. I don't even know if they sell it anymore. But if you can find one, they're great. The only recommendation is that if you use it, I use my Instant Pot to make yogurt. After you get it cleaned out, you want to wash it right away. Otherwise, it is forever to scrub it. But it's totally worth it to have one. And if you can scrub it, it's like if you can scrape it out and put everything in a container and scrub it without letting it sit out and dry up, you're going to have a much easier time cleaning this. Okay, yep, we've loved this. I've had it for a couple years now. It's great. Rubber bands do not go in here. Okay, I put them up there with my other stuff. Doesn't go in here. Okay, I'm going to stop and take care of my closet because this just feels messy. So, and then I will move on to the bottom shelf. And, or I guess I could just still ask the questions. What would happen if this is super important? What would happen if this disappeared? Super important. Black beans. I can go up with the beans. And this. Okay. Why is this in here? I don't know. This is my husband's, but I just don't think it goes in here. So that needs a new home. Okay, careful with that. I want to put this in a different cupboard. This is important to me. This is important to me. Why? My whole family got one of these for Christmas a few years back. They don't really make them anymore. They're just not that great, especially if you're trying to cook meat in them. But they're fantastic for cooking hamburgers, hot dogs, and best of all, French fries. You chop a bunch of French fries. If you see one of these at the thrift store or online or something, snatch one up. You can fill it up to here with French fries. Just use a chopper, chop a bunch of French fries. You don't want them to be super thin. You want them to be a little bit thicker. And make a bunch of French fries or hash browns, whatever. And then you don't put oil in or anything. A lot of people will chop their French fries and dry them with paper towels. Falling back here. You just put this to a really high temperature and you cook it at the highest temperature until it dries it out and starts to make them crispy looking. Then you add the oil. And then you can turn down the temperature depending on what type of oil you're using. And you finish roasting them and you have so many French fries. You don't have to open an oven and try to stir things in the... These make great French fries. So we're keeping them. It's also great for hamburgers and hot dogs. But this is something you do want to clean soon. It's just a lot easier to get to sooner. Useful and important. This doesn't go in here. This, like around Christmas time, I've been reusing this. You gotta clean it. If I can get it to be clean enough, I do like to use it around Christmas time. But this, it just doesn't go in here. It doesn't feel useful or relevant, and it's taking up a lot of space. So, put that on the forbidden shelf. Just kidding. Oh, there's more. What do I do with these? These are shish kebab things. I'm not going to use these. Oh, and this honey. Okay, well, you want to know what to do with honey like this. You put some water in a pan on the stove, bring it to a boil, turn it off. You don't want to keep it boiling. You'll melt all of your plastic. And then you just set it in for a couple minutes, and then you get to use what's in the bottom. So, and you do want to dump all of it out. If you can dump all of it out into a little glass jar, that will allow you to reheat it, maybe in the microwave at a low temperature, or I like to put it on a candle warmer. I found at a thrift store for this purpose. So there's that. Oh, how did these sliced beets get back in here? Okay, so yeah, these need a new home. I do not want these skewers. Like, we're not going to be using these skewers anytime soon. They just don't go in here. They go at the fire pit. And okay, so I'm going to work my magic on these upper shelves for a minute, and I will be back. I've quickly wiped down this counter, cleared some space. I'm going to be moving the heavy things that I use regularly up to a more comfortable position to lift them up and out rather than bending down to do it or reaching up high. I don't use this very often, but when I need it out and quick and easy accessible, that just looks like a good place to keep a crock pot. Okay, I ended up moving this up here, and I ended up moving the waffle iron right here. We don't use that regularly like we do our mixer. I use my mixer all the time. I don't use this regularly, but it's not going to fit in one of my cupboards. But I've just decided to go through the rest of my stuff down here. What would happen if this disappeared? This bowl, I hardly use it. These are just parts to other things I have that I'm glad to have found. I thought they were gone. This goes to the waffle iron, so I can put that with that. There's the bag of flour I was just looking for. So I'm going to be keeping that. The bags don't go in here. My son loves this. I think I can put this on the top shelf with my husband's other stuff. This can be pushed to the back corner of the bottom down here. And we've got some water storage. A lid. We do like keeping our honey containers. This needs to be cleaned, obviously, because they make fantastic. They're just the squeeze bottle. I think I prefer the kind that has, you guys, buy honey that has a clean tip. These don't have that. So we've just been, ever since we moved, we couldn't bring our honey with us, our containers. We used to have a honey squeeze tip that was like mustard that had the little rubber part, or yeah, whatever that is, that keeps the tip clean. So we don't have that. So I'm willing to part with this now, recycle it, and buy a nice honey, just a nice honey jar that has that kind of tip, and then just reuse that jar over and over, because it is so nice to have the clean tip with the little, you know, there's like a cross opening on the tip and you squeeze it out, and that keeps this mess from happening. So that's what I recommend. I don't think I'll be taking this, but I do prefer having a nice container over just pouring it out of a huge honey jar. Okay, back down here. This is wheat berries, keeping those. Oh, this doesn't go in here either. Can't find stuff because it's put in the wrong place. Okay, and then we've got my duster where nobody can find it. Yes, this needs to be cleaned up. And then this is I definitely want to transfer this to a different container. Look at it. It's almost gone. So, yeah. We're not done yet. I like to ask this about everything. What would happen if this disappeared? This is useful. Good. I haven't used this yet. These are from Dollar Tree. We plan to get a better one, but for now we take forever to buy stuff. So at least we have something until we buy our favorite broom or whatever we pick. But this looks nice. I haven't used it to wash the floor yet, but I think it might actually do a decent job compared to what we normally have, which is a dish rag. So, or an old rag, just a cloth to clean our floor. So this is a step up. I do plan to get a mop or something, and there we go. I've done the whole thing to declutter, and now it just comes down to the organizing. I'm surprised at how much space I've made simply by taking a minute to think about where everything was located. So this feels a lot better. Okay, quick progress report. Dinner's finished, so I'm going to eat, and I'll finish the rest tomorrow, but I've got the floor swept, and I ended up moving some more things. But this is where we're currently at. I do plan to work more tomorrow, especially wiping this countertop, or this shelf down. But this feels so much better to me, and there's so much more space. I did end up moving this pot, this big giant mixing bowl my husband likes to use for making huge batches of waffles, in here next to the waffle iron. So that's my progress report for today, and we'll work on this stuff later. I don't want to put it in a box somewhere. I'm just going to leave it up there until we can address each thing. So there we go.